Who wouldn't want to have nice clothes, jewelry, a new pair of shoes? But at what cost? Is budgeting a part of your plan? Is free spending a part of your plan? In this short, persuasive speech, I'm going to try to get you guys to budget. Over 2/3 of the American population struggle to scrounge up $1,000 in an emergency. Now, $1,000 to some people isn't a lot of money. 1,000 to some is a lot. When you budget, $1,000 could be nothing. If you don't, it could be everything. It could be your last. I have over 20 to 25 pairs of shoes, tons of clothes, and really nice jewelry. On average, a pair of shoes is about $100 to $200. For these example, these are Jordans. These shoes for my size normally range about $150, especially when they're brand new. I have clothes with tags on them. This shirt I've probably worn 3 times just because of the brand, Diamond Supply Company. This necklace, unlike other jewelry I have, this is one that I wear every day because it has more sentimental value. But I have other chains and watches that I don't wear at all. They just stay in the jewelry box unless I remember that I have them there. For example, if I go look at my shoe collection, I probably have $2,000 to $2,500 worth of shoes. Now, to somebody, that money could have been used for a car, bills, an apartment, groceries, things like that. From that, you can see I had a lack of budgeting, being a young college athlete with no responsibilities. When you don't have bills to pay, of course you can go buy $200 sneakers or a $400 necklace or a $50 shirt. But when it comes to the way I was spending, I bought things because I felt that I wanted them. Things that would be a want to somebody else became a need to me because this is all I was spending my money on. Again, like I was saying, my school was paid for. I was a young college athlete. I had no responsibilities. At this point in my life, this was my freshman year of college, where I realized, when I look back, I realized that I really wasn't budgeting. I didn't have a license. I didn't have a car. I didn't have a laptop for school. But I had shoes, clothes, and jewelry. Now, when I think back about it now, I had no priorities. My priorities were completely misconstrued. There was no order in them at all. Now, I wanted a car. I had the money to buy a car. I had the money to buy the shoes. I obviously had the money to buy a car. I wanted my license. The things that I didn't put a priority, I didn't have a laptop. I had to go to school to use the computers, but I had shoes that could cost, 3 pairs of shoes probably cost a really nice laptop. Now, having responsibilities is really what made me start budgeting. As I got older, after my sophomore year of college, I got my AA and I started working. I got my own apartment. I had my own bills now. I had a car. A lot of things that I didn't, took for granted when living with my parents. These are things I had to do on my own now at this point. Now, my parents were there to help me along the way, but for the most part, I did everything on my own. I didn't know that when you want an apartment, you're not just paying how much the apartment costs. For example, at the time the apartment I was living in was only $650. Probably 4 or 5 pair of Jordans, which if I wouldn't have spent the money on the Jordans, it would have been easy, to have the money for the apartment. But I had to pay the first month's rent, a security deposit, last month's rent, application fees. Now, these are things I'm thinking back wow, if I really hadn't spent that money on these shoes or these clothes or the jewelry, I would be able to easily have these things. But instead, I struggled. And even when I moved from college to home to my new apartment, I'm lugging these shoes around, lugging these clothes around, trying to keep up with this jewelry. These things that have no value to me at this point. A lot of these shoes I literally don't even wear. These are brand new shoes and I haven't worn them not one time yet. Not one time. I had to learn how to budget. Now, being that I have so many pairs of shoes and clothes and things like that, there's no really need for me to go buy any. But the way I do things now, I would wait for a paycheck to come. I would first take care of my bills, obviously my responsibilities. Then whatever is left, I would pretty much split that. Now, the way that I prefer to split it is I would split it in half. One half would go directly to a savings account for a rainy day, just in case, anything happens, I get sick, or, a bill's due or bill's late or something like that. And then I have the other half, like free spending money, extra money that, you know, pretty much like gas is included in that. If I want to go out with my friends, even if I want to buy a pair of shoes, for example, I could use $150 of that saved money to buy a pair of shoes, or I can go do something else. I can plan a trip, I can do anything. But reality is that budgeting is really what helped me control my spending, helped me save a lot more money. And at the end of the day, budgeting is just very important, okay? Without budgeting, you have no structure. Without structure, you have nothing.